Right, hey guys, how we doing? Back another video from Explanation Point. So there were videos I was wanting to check out, but then he went and uploaded this one, and I thought, go on, let's check it out. We're having fun with the Explanation Point videos. And this is the 1,000-year Loli and philosophical war. No idea, we'll get into it. And just a quick reminder that on my Patreon now I am reacting to anime episodes currently going through solo leveling. It's included in the $1 tier, which is what has always been there, where you get your name at the end of every video. So now you can watch anime reactions and get your name at the end of every video. Let's check this out.
One year near Thanksgiving, I returned to my town where my family was waiting to meet the new girl I'd brought round. And when Mother did open the door, I saw most of my relatives staring in open-mouthed horror. As a child you claim to enjoy, she stands nigh 4'7" and flat as a 10-year-old boy. Mother, wait, put the sheriff on hold, for there's no need to worry, this woman's 1,000 years old.
Right, okay.
I presented my lover, said, isn't she cute? With her boisterous demeanor and wonderful stature minute. She's been living since centuries back, though you never would guess from the way that she acts.
God. Yeah, here's the argument here, isn't it? It's always like, no, but it's okay, because she's actually like 1,000 years old. Yeah, but she still resembles, yeah.
Though the form she prefers is a 10-year-old brat, she's a shape-changing demon or dragon or something like that. And our love is resplendent and hot, and the viewers enjoy that it's legal but looks like it's not.
It looks like it's legal. No, looks like it's not legal.
So, my dear mother, I hope you approve of the way that your child has chosen to get in the groove. And remember,
God.
I'm just 23, she's 1,000 years older, so if there's a victim, it's me. So there you have it. I stick to my case that the 1,000-year Loli is more than it seems on its face. We'll get into the how, when, and why, but before we get to it, this video's brought to you by my patrons. If you want to support this channel's jaunty jigs while getting cool things for yourself, you can go to patreon.com/explanationpoint to find out how. Now on to this.
And another reminder, I have a Patreon page also.
The concept of the 1,000-year Loli is one that has plagued the anime community for ages. More than a meme, it has become one of those things that you have to explain to people who are just getting into anime. One of those
I've never had to have the conversation.
Things that makes them stare blankly at you as you try to explain that, yes, I know she looks like a child, but she's actually a 400-year-old vampire. She was cursed to look like this by a witch. She actually prefers this form because she's really self-conscious about it. And there's this character arc later on back and forth normally has giant tits, I swear. And with every word, you can see the hamster plodding its wheel behind their
Like, what? What?
eyes as they slowly reevaluate their...
Isn't it weird? Because now, you kind of like, obviously, it's not my thing, but I don't really question it either in this. And I think it's because it's not my thing, if you know what I mean. Like, whereas people that are into the whole animated girls thing, yeah, they're going to have to explain that. But me, I'm just like, oh, okay, it's one of those again.
Opinion not of Beatrice from ReZero, but of you. Every person who decides to make anime part of their life eventually has to come to grips with the existence of 1,000-year-old
Yes, I'm sure they all have.
6-year-olds, dividing themselves firmly into pro and anti-Loli camps that war eternally on the fringes of hell. I can see why people find it important to answer the 1,000-year Loli question, with one side seeing it as an issue of artistic liberty, while the other sees a guileless means of morally sidestepping the sexual depiction of children in media. And though I do find myself slightly more on the artistic liberty side of that battlefield, the ultimate answer to the Loli question doesn't interest me nearly as much as the question itself. As silly as it might sound, I think that a person's opinions on 1,000-year Lolis can tell you a lot about their attitudes toward media consumption and their fundamental philosophy about what a story is and how a person should interact with it. Is a story a self-contained and holistic thing that should be evaluated purely on its own terms, or is it the creation of a human being with an agenda and a personal history that have to be
Okay, this is going deep. This is going deep.
considered when consuming their work? It isn't easy for the two sides to come to a consensus consensus because they're talking past each other. And ultimately, this silly little argument about one of anime's more eye-rolly tropes is a reflection of deeper attitudes about what a character or even a story is supposed to be. The error in communication between the pro and anti-loli camps arises from the divide between the Watsonian and Doyleist perspective of narrative. These terms come from the Sherlock Holmes stories, and they refer to the kinds of explanations that can be given for fictional events. The Watsonian perspective, named after the elementary Dr. John Watson, the in-universe chronicler of Holmes' in-universe exploits, is diegetic. It comes from within the world of the story. It's an explanation that the characters will accept. Katniss Everdeen takes Prim's place in the Hunger Games because she cares about her sister and doesn't want to see her literally eviscerated on national television. The Doyleist perspective, named after Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the author of the Holmes stories, is the opposite. It's an explanation of why the real-world creator of the story chose to do things within the story the way that they did.
Oh, okay, interesting. I like that. So within the world, it's like, yeah, that's a really nice thing, but then the author wanted to show a different side
Katniss
to
Everdeen
it.
takes Prim's place in the Hunger Games because she is the main character, and if she didn't, the story would not be about her. Both of these kinds of explanations are important to different people in different amounts in different contexts, but I would wager that a person's tolerance for thousand-year lollies has a direct correlation with the weight that they generally put on one side of this
The Lollerance.
equation over the other. The pro-lolly argument that sparked the creation of this video is one that comes from within the text. The lolly enjoyer looks at this character and says there's nothing wrong with her. She might look like a child, but she isn't one. And the outward appearance of impropriety is not enough to condemn an innocent anime viewer with such serious labels as pedophile simply because your puritanical ideas can't stomach the thought of a grown woman with prepubescent proportions. The argument that the lolly should be taken at face value as a person is a diegetic Watsonian one. It states that because this character has 700 years of lived experience, she is rightfully an adult capable of making her own decisions. There is no ethical problem with her dressing however she likes or with another adult pursuing a romantic or sexual relationship with her unless one wants to argue that the age gap between a 700-year-old sea serpent and a 20-year-old human would make her a predator. Seeing a character like Kishirika Kishirisu in Mushoku Tensei gets their minds wandering in a world-building direction. They want to know how the Great Empress of the demon world came to look and act like an 8-year-old human girl just as much as they want to know how she became a down-on-her-luck beggar wandering the alleys of Windport or how she came to have her 12 demon eyes. When they see her outfit, they think about the ambient temperature of the demon continent and the harsh sun of the desert. They think about different cultural norms and the kinds of clothes that a destitute former empress could afford. When a member of the anti-lolly camp hears the answers to those questions, they will be viewed as excuses. That is because
Yes, they would.
Because they hold an exegetic Doyleist perspective on this issue. Their issue with the character does not come from internal consistency or problems with the world building, it comes from skepticism about the intentions of the author. They see a half-naked child-coded character, and their only concern is why the author chose to
why did they do that? What's wrong with them? They're sick in the head. I can't believe they thought it was okay to draw it like that.
Picked this character in this way. They say that the author has absolute power to make a character be any way they want them to be, and they chose to make them like this, which means that they wanted them to be like this. In a sense, they're accusing the author of working backwards in their storytelling. They're saying that the lolly is an imposition on the world rather than a natural consequence of it. That the author wanted to include a child-coded character in their work, and they created circumstances in the world to allow that to happen rather than creating the world and allowing characters to naturally arise from it. This is a very common and very valid criticism of Made in Abyss, whose author famously has some extracurricular artistic hobbies involving girls who are certainly not 1,000 years old. Their problem with the depictions of Riko has nothing to do with whether or not they are appropriate in the narrative. They may also care about that, but it is not the issue. Their concern is with a real-world explanation of how this kind of situation came to exist.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's like, within the anime world, that's just part of the story. It's how it is. It's what they do. It's nothing else. But when you take a step back outside of it, that's where all the problems lie.
When it comes to a character
Pepe Silva! Pepe Silva!
like Kishirika Kishirisu, they want to know, out of all of the possible ages and shapes and states of dress that the author could have chosen to portray this character in, why this one? And no amount of talk about the fashion culture of the demon continent or the character being cursed by her enemies to inhabit a child body or whatever is going to satisfy them because the author can just change the lore. It's the same kind of argument that crops up when people talk about Yaoyorozu's costume in My Hero Academia. Some people will say that she dresses the way that she does because her power requires exposed skin to function properly.
Yes.
And some people will argue that her power requires exposed skin to function properly because Horikoshi, the author, enjoys sexualizing his teenage characters. What fascinates me about this question is that both of those responses are demonstrably true. They are intra and extra narrative explanations for the same part of the story, and which side of the argument you fall on reflects heavily on your philosophy toward how stories are supposed to be consumed. Do you see characters as simulacra of human beings, or do you see them as reflections of an author's worldview? Do you believe that an author's intentions matter when interpreting a work, or should it be taken purely on its own merits without considering what its creator wanted to do? Nobody is going to fall unilaterally on one side of that question or the other. In fact, it's totally possible to say that you believe Kishirika Kishirisu is a compelling character whose loli attributes are perfectly justified in universe, and that Naganote, the author, is a godless freak who should have reconsidered his inclusion of a practically naked child in a light novel that includes naked children a little too frequently for it to be a coincidence. All I'm saying. I don't have a conclusion here. I just got a lot of comments on my Mushoku Tensei video from people saying that my argument meant that 1,000-year-old lolis were okay, and I got tired of responding, yeah, that's right, with no context, and felt I needed to explain. And I thought that doing that explanation in the form of a short video would help to spark a few interesting discussions in the comments, God help me. If you want to download that song from the beginning of the video for free, or if you just want to join this lovely list of people in helping me make content to tickle your thinkers, you should go to patreon.com/explanationpoint, where you can get such perks as joining our Discord server, playing games at our weekly hangouts, joining our monthly anime club discussions, reading my notes and scripts, even ones that don't get made into videos, and knowing that you, personally, are responsible for stuff like this existing. A special thank you to today's lucky patron, Joe DeStefano. Joe, I need you to listen real quick. I rolled you on my random patron table and saw that your name was right next to a real-life friend of mine. I was sorely tempted to be nepotistic and give the spot to him, Joe, but no, you get your spotlight. So please know that your 6 years of dutiful support to this channel are worth more to me than my own corrupt instincts. It is literally the least I could do. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, etc. And until next time, this has been Explanation Point, signing out.
Fantastic. Interesting video. Interesting discussion. I like that it didn't go too far. That song at the beginning was quite funny as well. I like we had a comedic entry into that because it did go quite. I thought it was going to go too deep. You know, I like to do entertaining reactions. Sometimes a little bit over the top. Like I got quite a few comments on the Gojo versus the Akatsuki where I didn't really take it that seriously. I just was having fun with the whole arguing about the speed feats, and everyone was like, "I can't believe you did." I was just like, "Oh." In my head, really, it's like this two fictional people that I don't do the power scaling. I just react to it to be entertained further with the reaction. So same with that. So like, I don't have a real big like view on the discussion there. I can see both sides of the argument. Neither side really bothers me. But yeah, thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video, I want to be able to watch patron-only videos. Link is in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is the last support. That's greatly appreciated. Thank you for that. Thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments below. Let me know what I should want to discuss in future videos. I'll see you guys next time.